All right. We live. We are here on this wonderful Sunday. This is October the 6th, 2024. And I'm here with Deacon Isaac Foster, my dad, myself. I am Bishop Herman Starks. And this is called It Starts at Home. So I guess so that we can set the mood about what this conversation about. Dad, will you take a second, take a minute, and let the public know what this conversation or these multiple conversations that we're going to have? And I'll get into that a little bit later, but let them know what your vision is about It Starts at Home. What is that all about?
Well, well, it's like this, we look at the world as being a problem caused by multiple things. We don't look at the grassroots of everything that's what forms everything about human society.
Mm,
Okay, the reason why we chose this title, that it starts at home, is because it's most important. That's where we all learn what we need to know about how to deal in any society. It doesn't
okay.
matter about where you are at on the planet. It matter about your attitude toward human interactions with each other. And majority of that is learned at home. So
Okay. Okay. Go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah, so what I'm looking at this point is that we tends to want to blame our government. We'll blame the school system. We play the blame game in reality when everything lies right at home. Everything.
Okay. So let
Mhm.
me interject just a little bit, just a little bit. I think these makes good topic conversations. But I would think, in all fairness, people would think that, well, we can't blame the government. A lot of things that they do is wrong. And I think behind the pressures of society, families not having the resources that they need in order to survive day to day, that type of thing. People do things that cause hardship. People lose their jobs. It's a lot of different things. So in all fairness, how would you explain that? People saying, when they, like you say, they play the blame game. Let's get down into the nitty gritty of it and break this thing down about it starts at home.
Okay. The reason why I say we tends to play the blame game is
Hmm.
because we don't take the responsibility of raising our own children to the point of being able to recognize what society has to offer for us. See, we'll take and send our child out ill equipped, and then when they come back maimed, or it didn't work for them, or the job that they went seeking wasn't what they was looking for, or well, how can we say it, we go to a college and not educated, or we go to kindergarten and don't know your parents name or your address. See, it
Hmm.
starts at home. If I can't teach my child how many dimes is in a dollar, I shouldn't expect him to get a dollar. It
Mm.
starts at home. So we can blame the government, true enough, but that's what we're doing, to blame the government. Now, don't forget, the government is you per se. If you take the time out, if you take the time out and take your child up from the time they begin to walk or speak a word, and make sure that they understand that society is them, not what everybody make up. It's them. Because what we give our children is what they're going to take to the world, to society.
Okay. So then that makes a lot of sense. Being accountable. If I got that right in regards
Mhm.
to the conversation. But immediately what comes to mind is that, if today is day one, as an example, and I have a child, if I'm ill equipped, how can I give the child what I don't have? How can, like you said, for instance, you know, uh, the 10 dimes that it takes to make a dollar. If I can't show them how to make the 10 dimes or how to even count the 10 dimes, you know, uh, why should they have a dollar? I can't teach them. A lot of parents just use the schools to do the hard work, because you got a lot of folks that's but when it comes to reading, writing, some of those specific things, they're not good at that, and it's an excuse. I will have to say that. But if you have a child, what do you do? Do you stay home, learn how to read and write, or do you go get a job to put food on the table? A lot of folks are faced with those types of obstacles, right? They're faced with those obstacles, those challenges. Um, how do we get around those things? Because I think more so than not, I think this has been a part of the foundation. They have produced um, children that they didn't teach. The schools taught them. So whatever it was that the school taught, that's what they learned. And at this specific point in time, we're living in generations behind that. So what we see standing before us is a byproduct of a lot of unlearned individuals. Because when you think about not that the opportunities weren't there, but when you think about the opportunities that are there or that were there, it came by way of grit. It didn't come by way of necessarily having the education.
Mhm. Well, where I'm at with this, it starts at home.
Mhm.
It's that we're talking basic right now, and I see where you're going, but that's a something we need to project further down the line. But right now, we must understand the fact that if my parents didn't teach me, my parents had enough intelligence to consummate me. They should have enough intelligence to teach me. So it falls on the parents, on the parent, on the parent, on the parent. It starts
Okay.
at home. What I'm saying is generational, it's been a generational thing that got us to where we're at. So what made me really realize that is that you're looking at, okay, here is a problem that everybody want to throw on us collectively when it should start at home and on an individual mother and father situation. See,
Now, I was gonna
I'm
say I like that. Because I was starting because I think a lot of the thought patterns or a lot of the thought or thinking that people would have was exactly what I posed. But I think in what I'm saying with the accountability aspect of it, the principle, I think, is the objective here, and the core values that our children have when they leave out the home. Who are they? How do they represent us when they're leaving out of the home? I think that becomes what they can give to the child, whether they educated or not. Like you said, the intelligence side of it says that the difference between what is right, what is wrong.
Mhm.
In preparing the child, because at some specific point in time before they go to school, what happens between 0 to preschool, what happens when they're in the first grade, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, when they still coming home with some stuff. I think parents can they can help with, et cetera. We are in 2024, so I'm not assuming that, we fresh out the cotton fields, with what happened, with us as a race of people. Nevertheless, there is a foundation that should be set, and that you can build upon that. Like, my thinking about it is that the goodness of the individual should be imparted into the child. Because
Mhm.
if you a rotten individual or you a criminal, more than likely you're gonna teach your children to be rotten or criminal. More than likely. I'm not saying that that's gonna
Mhm.
happen all the time, but you've seen some children that you like, okay. And then once you talk to the parents, you like, okay, I see where they get it from. You can
Mhm.
kind of see that, it's uh, the goodness that's in them or that's not in them, it'll show up and it'll reflect that. But go ahead.
Okay, now the idea and the intentional concept is of this is that it starts at home. Home is the parent. Okay, home is not a place where we lay down and sleep at. Home is the parent. That's
Okay.
who that's who is responsible for the child. Grandmother, great grandmother, great great grandmother, grandfather, great great grandfather, up to our generation. This is where we have to live and look at. Now, majority of the kids, what we would say is just like what you just said there. Okay, what if the parents, what if he's a criminal, or what if number one, give you a real good example of what we're trying to get to here is that you got a child that always seems the parent always seems to let them have their way at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the household, that child, whatever they want, the parent tends to give it to them. Okay, when they leave out the house, what is they going to expect when they get out in the street?
To receive whatever it is that they
They,
ask
they
for.
want, and when they don't get it,
Throw a
they're
tantrum.
there you go. There now what this is what one of the things if we looking at our society as a whole, what do we do? I'm talking about right now, right today. The first thing the average individual does with their child, their baby, even before they begin to talk, they give them a electronic device.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, that's at home. That's the parent. That on the parent. And it's not about your ethnic background. It's not about your religious background. It's about what the parent does to prepare you to go out and face humanity.
Hmm.
We're not doing that from my point of view properly. It's
So, okay, so in suggesting, I can see that in suggesting and thought, they're not spending proper amounts of time with the child,
Mhm,
letting the child get to know them
mhm,
getting to know the child, showing the child different scenarios depending on what the child is doing, spending that time with them, playing with the child, because all that is learning. That's a learning thing. It
that's
is
it.
fun, but it's learning. The child is learning something from
Right.
that encounter. And if you hand a child a device, like you just said, electronic device, then that device is what's spending time with the child.
Yeah.
That device is what's educating the child. Because you have a lot of
Mhm,
extremely intelligent children and intelligent adults, but they're not emotionally intelligent. We find that out. They're numb. They don't know how to love. They don't know how to share in this human experience.
mhm.
The sense of love or empathy. They're cold. If that makes sense, which causes, I think, people in turn to uh, accept violence. Accept in all sorts of ways.
Mhm.
Violence is accepted, and violence should never be accepted. Right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
we in a world that says in order to be the number one country, and we've all bought into it, in order to
Mhm,
be the number one country, we have to be a bully in the world. We have to have weapons of mass
mhm,
destruction in order to maintain this thing that we have, we call freedom in the
mhm.
21st century. We're sophisticated to the degree when you look at the third world country, we're not suffering in that regard. So we have allowed this, or I should say, we accepted these things for what I would say is to be spoiled, or what we say is better.
Mhm.
But is it better? Is it truly better? Has it made us better people at heart?
I'll give you one. I give you one. Uh, uh, with the devices. Okay, and you hit it right on the head. There is no empathy. There is no feeling. You know why? This is what, okay, well, they're intelligent, but guess what? It's artificial intelligence. It's not from a human. It's from a
Uh-oh.
machine.
Oh,
You
see, now you're
understand
going
what I'm
somewhere.
saying? But,
Now you're talking about a little something.
but I'm just saying, look at us though. Look at us though. I'm saying, look, where you hit it on the head. We have no feelings for each other because we didn't teach each other. This is what I'm trying to say. It's on the parent. Okay, you wonder why everybody running amok out here? It's artificial intelligence. And the word artificial mean it's not real. When it ain't real, you're going to have confusion. Where there's confusion, there is death, disorder, misunderstanding, and purity chaos. Look at us today.
Yeah. That's a handful, like, especially when you hit on this artificial intelligence, because it was created. You know, that is the cheat sheet in life, beyond the time that is necessary to teach.
Right.
To teach a child, you know, we was taught how to count on our fingers and our toes. I'm not sure if children are taught how to count on their toes and things of that nature any longer. You know, my children is a lot older. You know, I taught them that at that time, but in this day and age that we're living in now, I'm not so sure of that. You know, when you look at the children, you can almost walk by any home and you see a cell phone, you see a tablet, you see a laptop, you see these children hours and hours daily captivated by whatever it is that they're doing on these machines. And that's the problem. That to me becomes a problem because they for the most part, isolated. The matter of fact, think about it. Try taking a phone or one of those devices from these children, and you got a problem on your hand.
Yes, you do. They're going to tantalize. They're going to go into panic.
I remember years back, and this was something that this is about almost 30 years ago, because my oldest nephew is 31, right? And at that time, I think he may have been about 8. I'm assuming 8, somewhere around up in there. And the video games was like, it came out, and I was fine. You know, they doing their little things with the video games because we had arcades, you know, so it was cool. But I walked by where I went over to pick him up. I was talking to the babysitter and the other children that was in the house that were their age, etc. And I happened to watch one of the games that they were playing at the time, and it was so aggressive. It was robbing and stealing, and I was kind of like, well, whoa, wait a minute. They should not be watching this. And the babysitter thought it was okay because her children watching. I said, well, your children is older. That might be okay. They might in their process of that, they can be more responsible, you know, based on what it is they see and how they react to it. These children, you're teaching them something to be able to mimic. I didn't like that. And I when the Sims game came out, you know, I thought it was a little fun thing, but I also saw in there they're teaching children how to take care of children, right? That's the whole key: create a household, but have children, you know, those things. And then I started seeing young folks, I should say, act like they're inside of the game, the simulation side of it. They're acting like the game. They're responding to other humans like it's the game. Their behavior, they're mimicking this game. And I'm talking about, I seen older teenagers mimicking this. If the older ones is doing it, what do you think the young ones doing? And then here comes the problem when you have a 7-year-old stabbing their sibling because of a note about flush the toilet and different things. They're unable to deal with their emotions. That emotional intelligence is so important. That should be built and trained and taught to them at a young age, leading into their teenage years to adulthood, etc. Because it has not been taught. We have emotional young folks killing one another.
Yeah,
Kill us too. They have no qualms about doing any of these specific things. And like you said, it's not gender based. It's
Mm,
not based on nationality.
no,
Because over in Africa, they're doing the same thing. In America and China, you know,
Europe, you name it.
Europe, these children pretty much is inside of this bubble, this culture bubble, where all of them trying to be on the same accord. We in church, think about it, and I'm not preaching, preaching here, but in church we talk about being on one accord,
Ab-
right? Because
Absolutely.
in God, we talk about being on one accord in God. Well, if they're on one accord and they're not in the church setting, right? There's nothing religious about this here, then they're on one accord in the world. And where does the world lead you to? It leads you into anything and everything that
Mhm,
is wrong, that potentially can go wrong, that normally does go wrong because it's the world. So we have an issue um, that we have to deal with as individuals. We have issues that we have to deal with, that we must deal with as parents, and
mhm,
ensuring that our children get the love, get the
mhm,
support that they need, they get the emotional intelligence that they need. Um,
mhm.
if you had never said ouch, it meant that you never had pain.
Right.
Pain is necessary so that you can know the difference. Sticking your hand on the stove and getting burnt, feeling the hot temperature, you learn not to do that again, right? You want
Mhm,
to make sure you stop your child from running out in the road and getting hit by a truck. So you might have to pop the hand or pop their little backside and say, hey, pay attention. The doctor, when you first come out, they spank the backside in order for you to holler so that you can start breathing. Some of
mhm.
these things are mandatory as necessary, and we're getting so far away from it in this cloud where everybody has this perception that uh, you pretty much do what you want. Well, there should be some fundamentals. And that's kind of what I think this conversation is about, is those fundamentals. Before they leave out the house, what
Absolutely.
fundamentals do they have?
Yeah, absolutely. And think about it. Think about it. To make it plain and simple, if you a spoiled brat, when you leave out of the house, guess what you're gonna seek?
Uh-oh.
Another spoiled brat. It's like what we say when we say the spirit bears witness with the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Cultural togetherness by bear witness with the same thing. If I go out and drink, I'm gonna find me a drinking partner. Okay, don't too many people drink along.
Birds of
Okay,
the feather flock together, right?
you feel what I'm saying. So where did this child pick this up at? If we're in a home setting, it's this here has so many. It's a 360 because once you go all the way around and come back, you're going right back to home.
Mm-hmm.
So it must start at home. Whatever we facing in our society starts at home. If like you were saying, if the parent loses the job, or if a parent can't do nothing but go to work, what time do they have to experience with their children? Why?
That's
Why?
right.
Okay, now so I go hire in a nanny or somebody to watch my child, and this person turned out to be some kind of pedophile or something. You understand what I'm saying? We're
That's
gonna
right.
we're gonna keep it real. Now you
Mm-hmm.
don't know who you done left your child with.
That's right.
You
Well,
know,
we finding that out now. We
yeah,
dealing with those consequences
yeah.
right now. You finding out. Think about this here. Just as you mentioned that, you made me think about they coming out where they have come out with the uh, uh, different organizations and setups back 30, 40, 50 years ago of incidents that has happened. People are now speaking out about what happened to them when they were
Mhm,
young children. And the sad thing about it is
mhm,
that the emotional intelligence wasn't there where they were able to openly speak and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, this is what happened to me. It wasn't right. Because why would the child be afraid to speak the truth to their parent about what happened to them
mhm.
unless they had reason to be?
Yes. That's very understandable. But you see, the thing where we're at right now in this conversation, and we jump starting this to get this people to understand that your child is the most valuable asset.
That's correct.
That is your most valuable asset. A nation, the children is its most valuable asset. This is why so many government take the child from those that they don't think is fit to raise it. Okay? Because the child is an asset. And so if we take that and don't treat it right, it's no longer an asset, it become a dependent.
That's right. A detriment. That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? It is no longer there to uplift and uphold what's supposed to be good or whatever how it goes. Even in the criminal situation, as we say, they still do the same thing. They make sure that the child, number one, is learning what is most important for them when they get older.
That is right.
If I don't take my child and teach them, listen, my child is leaving home, but yet and still my child don't know his name. My child don't know my name, but he is old enough to leave out of my house on his own and don't know his own name or my name or his mother's name, his brother's name. Somewhere in that house.
All right. So let's talk about it. So we're going to wrap this for now, and we'll be back with another segment. Just so that you know, we want to just warm you up a little bit, let you kind of hear and get a feel of where we're going to be going in some of these conversations. Some of them is going to be spot on. Some of them you may have disagreements with them. Nevertheless, these are conversations that need to be had. It starts at home. So we'll be back with some breakdowns. We're going to be talking about everything under the sun. Let me explain something to you. We're going to talk about it all. And we want to make sure that, we equip you, with a conversation, equip you with ideas on how to not just talk about, not just connect, but connect and begin to do something about it, whether it's with the next generation or the one coming back. We got grandchildren, great grands. We can begin to do some stuff. And sometimes you need to connect with yourself. Sometimes you need to really change your thinking, renew your mind so that you can get on the right track. So that's what we're striving to do as humans and a part of this humanity. We want to make sure that we lead the world a better place. So we're going to sign off right here. Again, I'm Bishop Herman Starks, and I'm with none other than
It Starts at Home, Deacon Isaac Foster.
All right. It starts at home. God bless you.
Right. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Now.